Welcome to Curiosity, where we explore curious topics that make you think of communication differently. In today's episode, I interview Amy Lalouette, the hilarious writer at Baby Yum Yum. She also has her own blog, which she chronicles her misadventures with her patient husband, known as himself, and her adorable Slytherin baby. Let's give you a taste of her writing, where Amy recounts her trip to Portugal and Spain and gives us some tips on how to travel with the baby. Her third tip is that the language barrier will be a problem. One of the great things about Slytherin Baby is her robust health. I've never had to deal with any of those niggles and minor ailments, so I don't have any supplies on hand. And, of course, the first time we have any problems would be in Spain, where you can't recognize any of the products, or read any of the boxes, or talk the same language as the pharmacist. After 10 frustrating minutes, I left the shop and went to speak to himself, who was waiting outside with the baby. "You have to do this." "Okay, what do you need me to do?" "I need you to get something for nappy rash and something for constipation for the baby." Good luck miming that. So, without further ado, let's meet the author.
Okay, so I was born and raised in Durban. I'm married to himself. I am the mother of a baby Slytherin. So in varsity I studied communication and English, and then just like all frustrated writers, I went into teaching. So I taught English for 10 years and I loved it for the most part. It was pretty awesome to get to do something that you love and work with English. And now I am lecturing at Varsity College. I lecture English and communication there, and I'm loving it as well. I'm still writing. I write murder mysteries because, well, why not? I still write my novel, and at the current rate it should be done in about 57 years. And of course I write my blog. I've always had a passion for writing. I've always loved writing. I was one of those weird kids that would get excited at school when they would say you've got an essay to write. And then when I became a teacher, one of the things I found was that it was very difficult to find comprehension passages for grade 8s, especially because it had to be a certain length, it had to be a certain level, and it had to be a bit entertaining. And most of the passages were either too advanced or too simple, and mainly too boring. So I started writing short pieces to use in comprehensions, and I found I loved it. It was really very fulfilling for me to be able to write again. I so enjoyed the process of it. And then when I fell pregnant, I suppose I finally had something to write about that wouldn't get me in trouble with work. I'm sure the adventures of teachers, they've got a lot to write about, but morally we probably shouldn't say too much. But with my blog, I really wanted to record my experiences, keeping a record for me, keeping a record for Slytherin Baby one day when she grew up, dealing with my stresses, but also hopefully giving people a bit of a laugh and giving a voice to the moms you don't often see on Facebook, the unmumsy moms. I sort of went into it thinking, well, let me show perhaps the unglamorous side of motherhood. It's not the dramatic side, it's the side we don't often talk about, the reality of, well, what I went through. So that's really where the blog started. And then, of course, with Slytherin Baby, I was very lucky because she gives me a lot of material, and the more I wrote, the more I found there was to write, because she is just such a character that there is just so much to record. So, as I said, I'm quite lucky with Slytherin Baby because she gives me a lot of inspiration. She's quite a character. Sometimes it's very easy because all I have to do is write down what she does. So my parents' neighbor had a baby about 2 weeks after I did, and the first time Slytherin Baby met Hufflepuff Kid, it was quite an experience, and she really showed herself up, and me. And after I got over my embarrassment, I could really see the funny side of having this one kid that behaves so beautifully and was just so gorgeous and cuddly, and this other kid that was screaming and pooing and weeing all over herself and throwing a tantrum meeting for the first time, and all I had to do was really record that. Hopefully I wanted people to be able to relate to it and to see the funny side of life. That's pretty much how I go about choosing the content, is trying to find something that people can go, I know about that. I'm so glad you asked that, because got something over here. Say hello to Leaky. Say hello. Say hello, Leaky. Give your fans a wave. Give your fans a wave. There you go. Hey? So this is my Slytherin Baby, and the reason why she's called Slytherin Baby is when we went for the 17-week scan, I was so looking forward to finding out if she was going to be a boy or a girl. So we could start thinking about names and nurseries, and she could start becoming a real person. Oh, really? And of course, everyone I'd spoken to had managed to find out the gender when they went for the 17-week scan. This little so-and-so crossed her legs for the entire scan, and at the end of the scan, the doctor said, "Look at that." She was giving us a thumbs up. Genuine thumbs up. I have a picture of it somewhere. And I knew then what I was having. Part of the reason why I really wanted to do humorous stories about my experiences with pregnancy and motherhood is that I found reading online articles, there were two types. There was the almost cultish worship of motherhood and children, and life has no meaning or experience beyond children. Or else there were these articles that were all about how dark and difficult motherhood is. And when I fell pregnant and when I had Slytherin Baby, what I found was it wasn't like that. It was life. Parts of it were amazing and wonderful, and parts of it were miserable, and most of it was actually just life. But I really just wanted to show it doesn't have to be this extreme of emotion all the time. It can actually just be a bit lighthearted. And that's really what I wanted to do with the humor in my writing, is to go, look, here's the other side of it. So, tips for writing, I can only really tell you what's worked for me, and my main thing has been characterization. So when I write about myself, and I take sort of that nervy part of me that panics about everything, and I sort of magnify that a bit. and I take Slytherin Baby's more histrionic responses to things, and I tend to exaggerate that. And really, that's what I find forms the basis of my writing, is find a situation, put your characters in, and then let them react. So I draw on my own experiences, which is great because you don't have to think of things. It's easy to know what the situation was, to know how it's resolved in the end. So you don't have to worry about the tale so much as putting your characters in there and going, right, have fun. How do you react? So my advice is always to take something that you've experienced, and if you have to change the details, if you have to take 3 different episodes and put them into one, that's absolutely fine. It doesn't have to be exactly 100% the plain unvarnished truth. It just needs to be something that you know about, because that shows in your writing. One-liners, jokes that you've read, put those in there. Add in the little details. Describe the look on the face. Describe the moment of realization. Don't be afraid of the build-up. You might know where this is going. Your audience knows where it's going, but your character doesn't. Play with that. Build it up, build it up, build it up, and then drop your character in there. My advice is always, as I say, base your characters on people you know, or stock characters, people that your readers will recognize. That I really feel is the mark of humor, is when your reader can go, yeah, I can relate to that. Also, it's very important to remember you're not writing a book. And I'm talking now, of course, to the students who are writing essays. You don't have to have this huge character arc. You don't have to have this intricate plot. You know, you all take photos. You know that the best snapshots are not always these grand panoramic shots. They're the close-up that captures the moment. And that's what your writing needs to do. Take your characters, magnify them, base your writing on your own experiences, and have fun with it. Really write what you want to read. That's the most important thing, I think.
And that comes to the end of our interview. If you enjoyed what Amy had to say and want to read any more of her hilarious pieces, I have attached a link in the description below. That's all we have time for today. Goodbye, everyone, and see you next time.